everyone. My name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health as well as education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We actually have a thought piece scheduled to drop this upcoming Sunday, so definitely be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you're looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available wherever podcasts are playing, and we have provided you with access to a few links down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today's topic of discussion is mental wellness. And on the topic of mental wellness, in the theme of this brand new spanking year, 2024, we're going to talk about a mindset shift. We're going to be talking about different ways to be unapologetic and different areas in life where to support our wellness and our well-being, we decided prima facie out of the gate that no apologies are necessary. Now, this is going to be a 2-part series because the first one is a way of navigating and orienting in the world around us by way of our own sense of expectations and values. And the second part of this series is going to be when people expect you to be apologetic and why you should steer away from that and why you should gladly deny them the satisfaction of being apologetic. So this first segment is really about the conversations we have with ourselves in the way that we show up. And again, the second part of the series is really going to be why we need to be unapologetic when people expect us to show up a certain way. So let's jump right into these. These are going to be cute and colloquial. They're going to be tongue-in-cheek, but ultimately they're very serious. And they're going to shift our way of navigating. They're also going to shift and help us see ourselves in a different light, in a better light, and help us value our individuality and the unique ways that we show up in a world that really tries to stifle our personal identity and really tries to steal away from the ways that we are different by trying to have each of us spoon-feed this concept of conformity. And I'm an anti-conformist. I am someone who is very strongly an individualist, which means I value individuality. And so that brings us to our first point: your quirks and idiosyncrasies, the things that make you different. And this could be the nose twitches that you have. This could be maybe some of the habits that you have that are harmless. They do not hurt anybody, but people feel inclined to judge you for them because they make you stand out. And so I think that it's really very interesting. There was this person I spoke to a few years ago who had mentioned that in his culture, and he was from Mexico, that there is a saying, and the saying was that the nail that sticks out gets hammered. And so it's really a saying that really speaks to when we are in a conformist society where everyone needs to toe the line and everyone's trying to be like each other rather than embracing themselves. And the person who embraces themselves gets the punishment. They're the ones who get axed, and they are the ones who are hammered down to the ground to get in line because they're not playing the game in the way that they're supposed to. And so I'm here to say, let's not play that game, right? I think the people who feel inclined to punish you for being yourself are the people that now they have signaled to you that they're the ones to stay away from. I think in 2024, 2024, let's stop valuing the people who feel inclined to denigrate us and to punish us for being ourselves. And a lot of the times it's just the fact that you're standing out, that they're noticing you, that creates envy, jealousy, bitterness, and resentment because they wouldn't dare allow themselves to be noticed in such a way. So for whatever your idiosyncrasies are, your habits, your rituals, the things you do that make you stand out, that make people take notice, that make some of them feel inclined to be snarky and a little bit nasty, I think be unapologetic about it. I think let them know, like, hey, I'm sorry if me being me is something that is triggering to you, but that's a trigger you need to manage on your own. I am not here to be anybody's punching bag just for simply being me. And maybe the first couple of times when you say that, your voice will be shaky, you're not sure if you believe it, but you say that enough and you'll start to recognize just how worthy you are of defending. And now the next point that I want to talk about by way of mental wellness and areas where we need to be unapologetic about, it is our hobbies and our interests, the things that ignite us. We are not all built to be drawn to or interested in the same things, but for whatever reason, if your hobby is too far left, someone feels inclined to be judgmental about it and to be critical about it. And I think one of the saddest realities is having a hobby, having an interest and a passion that you feel like you have shame around. Like you can't help but like it, like you really enjoy like either talking about this topic, researching this topic, building around this topic, whatever the case might be, that someone has felt inclined to build a sense of shame in that hobby or that interest. And I think our interests and our hobbies are just part of ourselves or an extension of ourselves to help people get a window into our mind, into the ways that our minds work, into things that our minds are drawn to, and the types of problems our minds want to solve. And I think that all of us are built to solve different kinds of problems. All of us are here to create a different kind of impact, and that means you need to lean into the things that interest you, the things that you're passionate about, because they're going to lead you to your purpose. The things that interest you, the things that you're passionate about, like if you don't know what your calling is yet, I think you're not going to find that out if you don't follow your curiosity and recognize that our curiosity is going to bring us in very different lanes. And it's okay if your curiosity is very different from the people that you care about, so long as you respect that difference, right? And I think that if we learn to value difference, we can bring our curiosities, our interests, the things that we're passionate about to the table and receive support and receive encouragement for all of the things that we want to do with those areas of interests, of passion, and then the things that we're curious about. But if we have allowed ourselves and we have normalized being judged and being made fun of or being ostracized for the things that we're interested in because they're just too different from what society has deemed appropriate to be interested in, then I think that it's really time to start taking that power back and removing the voices who feel inclined to make you feel small because your interests are just different and they're not conventional. And I think that we need to start embracing the unconventional, and I think a lot of us are unconventional. It's just that too many of us have been silenced and we have drunk the Kool-Aid of tradition and convention, and as a result of that, we want other people to drink the Kool-Aid, even if it tastes bitter. And I think in 2024, we're not going to do that. We're not going to drink Kool-Aid that we don't care for. We're going to be unapologetic, no apologies necessary about our interests, about our hobbies, and about our passions. And if someone wants to try to make us feel small for them, then those are the people who get nixed in 2024, and we make room for people who can respect the areas that we want to invest our time and energy in, or even more than that, who have the same interests and who have the same hobbies and passions. And I'm not someone who's really in the camp of only hang out with people who care about the things we care about. I think there's so much growth and learning that can be gained when you interact with people who have different hobbies and interests. There's just so many interesting bridges that you can build across passions and interests. But I wouldn't want anyone to be robbed of that opportunity by only hanging out with people who have similar interests. I think just make sure that you find the kinds of people who respect the differences in interests and who can show curiosity, who can ask questions, who can hold space for the things that you create space for. And lastly, in this video, an area that you want to be unapologetic about by way of how you show up in the world around you is your culture, the aspects of your culture that you are proud of. And while I often speak against socio-political norms that put us in a box, I think that is very different from aspects of our culture that we feel prideful of, that we embody, that we identify with closely. And when you find yourself in a multicultural or a diverse space, sometimes if it's not a dominant culture, you can feel small, you can feel silenced by being proud of a culture that's not widely represented in the people within the room. And I think that you need to really own the stage of being the voice and the face and the representation of what makes you feel so passionate and so aligned, and identify with these aspects of your culture that make you you. So I think culture can have so many different layers to it. There's culture at a societal level, there's culture at a community level, like a local community level, there's culture at a family level, and then there's the parts of those cultures that we carry within ourselves. And I think that parts of the culture that you carry within yourselves, that you're aligned to, that you feel really aligned to your own personal sense of identity, or the aspects of culture that you bring to every room and that you are unapologetic about. You don't allow people to make you feel small or to silence the ways that that culture shows up and how that culture communicates, because that culture is the diversification of each room needs, but it's only the culture that we can bank on if we're unapologetic and proudly vocal about how that culture will shift and change the conversations and the direction and the paths that we're taking in those spaces. So cute and sweet, but I wanted to come in here and talk about the things and the areas when we think about them, the ways that make us different, the aspects of our individuality that show up regardless, but sometimes we can allow people to make us feel shame and guilt for them, but we shouldn't do that anymore, are the three that I mentioned. So that is really making sure that we're unapologetic about our quirks and idiosyncrasies, about the ways that we show up, the ways of being that make us different. We're unapologetic about our hobbies, our passions, and our interests, and things that drive our curiosity, and we're unapologetic about the aspects of our personal cultural identity that we want to bring to the world around us. We're not going to allow people to make us feel small for the ways that we are proudly different. So that was the topic of discussion for today. I hope that it touched you. I hope that it gave you a sense as to how you want to navigate these spaces around you, who you want to navigate with, who you want to create some distance with because they've made life a little bit more difficult than necessary, and how you're going to create space for the growing, evolving, beautiful you that 2024 is going to introduce you to. In any case, that was it, but definitely not all. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page, so definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops largely focused on self-mastery over and above those events. So check it out, be part of our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us the small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to our phase, and you can follow us across all